I thought to myself, if we just had a little while, what would I want to say to somebody that's out there in the throes of it? From this angle, as a parent of young adults, and then watching my oldest daughter parent, what would I want to say about being a parent? And I kept thinking of this one word, parent, that this is what I would want to say, parent. And I don't mean as a noun, I mean as a verb.
Right. Yeah.
Active parenting, that's an action verb, that's what we can do that nobody else can do for us, or nobody else is meant to do for us. Let's parent. Not just, now I don't mean that there are not times that we are such a good friend to our children. Of course, there are those times. But not just to boss, or not just to befriend, or not just to bring in material provision for them, or not just to be their bus to get them where all they're going, but to actually parent, that we're the ones parenting, that we're not just being dominated somehow by our children. Parenting takes courage.
It does.
And it takes some confidence. I mean, where we think, okay, now there is a reason why I'm the parent here and this is the child. And I'm going to have to somehow get on my feet and hold back my shoulders and say, you know what, because I love you so much, I'm about to say the word you don't want to hear. No.
That's right.
And I'm prepared to say it as often as I need to. I mean, no, because it is my job to parent you. And maybe someday you're going to understand, maybe someday you won't, but I'm going to tell you, under every bit of the conviction I have, if I feel that it's a no, it's going to have to be one. And I think one of the things that I see, and I'm not cynical about our present culture. I don't look back at the past and think those were the good old days. That's not even in my bones. I don't think that way. I love what God is doing on this globe at this time. I love some of the things about parenting that are a little easier to express now and a little more open. But one of the things that I do think is worrisome is that we are getting scared of our children. There's not quite the authoritarian kind of that when we were being raised, some of us, we had that strong authority that might have seemed, I'm not saying for all three of us, I'm just saying that it's out there a lot, that almost that kind of bully parenting, where you are to be seen and not heard. Okay, we don't see that as often. Of course it exists, but we don't see it as often, perhaps, as we did back when I or my mother or my grandmother, back when we were being raised. But what we do see now is that there are a whole lot of parents, a whole lot of mothers that are just scared of their kids, and their kids are in charge of the home. You're really in the throes of that, Priscilla, and I know that you surely see that, where it's just like, we're going to take over. And is there something that how do you lay down a good, strong no, and that's all there is to it?
I'm so agreeing with, resonating with what you're saying, especially now that these giants in my house are getting bigger than me.
Yes.
They're, bigger physically. So it's like there has to be a healthy respect that is already established before they have passed me in height, and before they are twice my size. So that's something that I've thought a lot about. And one of the things, when you say confidence, I think that's one of the hardest things, because the reality is parenting is such a hard job that you do doubt yourself half the time. You're wondering if the no you gave should have been a no, if the yes you gave should have been a yes. Can they hang out with these friends, not these friends? You're so concerned, because really the only time you know you did well or not well as a parent is in hindsight. You can't tell while you're in it.
No,
so it's so hard to lack the confidence. And I think this sounds a little silly, but I remember doing this when the boys were babies and they're crying, and I'm like, I don't need to keep picking them up. I need to let them, I remember standing off to myself in my room and saying, you are the parent. You are the parent. You know what's best for them. Really just encouraging yourself, reminding yourself of the position that has been entrusted to you by God.
By God.
Yes. And that you're stewarding one of his great treasures on his behalf here on earth. And so literally, it sounds a little silly, but literally just standing back and reminding yourself that you're in charge. You know what I mean? That you're the parent and helping your own confidence to bolster your own confidence. And then, of course, surrounding yourself with other women who are going to help you do the same.
That's right.
Other parents who are going to help to encourage you in your yeses being yes and your nos being nos.
Yeah.
But I have to say that when I do give the boys a no, and of course this is constant, but saying to them, I do not want to say this again.
That's good.
I'm not telling you this 1,800 times.
Right.
If you have already asked me, you don't then go ask your father. And you
Right.
don't need to ask me again, because my no is still going to be my no.
Yes.
Right.
So I think we train our children inadvertently.
Yeah.
When we have a no one
Yeah.
day and a yes on that same thing the
Yeah.
next day,
Yes.
we train them inadvertently to think that we're not even taking ourselves
Yeah.
seriously. So if we don't, they won't. And so
Yeah.
we have to train ourselves to have enough confidence to let our no's be no and our yes be yes, because then we teach our children not to ask us the same thing over and over and over again,
That's right.
thinking that they can just wear us
right.
down.